My opponent's proposal fails to address the scientific and utilitarian need for some animal testing, while also failing to provide any scientific documentation for his claims. For these reasons, I propose a counterplan, where a partial ban on animal testing is enacted by the United States federal government. This partial ban would permit animal testing only for medical purposes, and forbid animal testing where unnecessary for medical progress, such as cosmetic testing. My opponent repeatedly cites PETA, but that source lacks scientific credentials. In fact, PETA euthanized the overwhelming majority of dogs and cats it accepted into its shelters. Out of 760 dogs impounded, they killed 713. As for cats, they impounded 1,211, euthanized 1,198, transferred 8, and found homes for a grand total of 5, according to James Williams of The Atlantic. Additionally, he digresses on a rant about making better buying decisions for the environment, which directly contradicts his own plan. If there's a ban on animal testing, how could a person buy a product that had been tested on animals? One cannot deny the importance of animal testing to medicine. As Colin Blakemore, professor of neuroscience at Oxford and Warwick University, states, antibiotics, insulin, vaccines for polio and cervical cancer, organ transplantation, HIV treatments, they were all developed and tested using animals. In fact, animal research has contributed to 70% of Nobel Prizes for physiology or medicine. Without it, we would, medically speaking, be stuck in the Dark Ages. Animal research has been crucial in the development of some of our most important modern medical practices, and a complete ban on it would set back the development of life-saving drugs and techniques. Alternatives do exist, but they cannot replace all tests performed on animals because they lack the complexity of a fully functioning biological system. According to Roger Morris, head of the School of Biomedical Sciences at King's College, real diseases are diseases of the whole body and can only be studied in the whole body. We need to look at living brain. Certainly, alternative tests can be useful, but a computer model or small tissue sample cannot mimic or reproduce the intricate responses of a living organism. While it's true no tests are 100% accurate, animal testing does provide accurate results and is being perfected every day. According to the National Post, Dr. John Dick of the Toronto General Research Network is widely celebrating for creating a mouse able to produce human blood and human leukemia. In 2005, researchers in California created a mouse whose skull contains small amounts of functioning human brain cells. Specimens are chosen not only for their similarity to humans, but are actually being created with human tissue, thus being able to essentially treat a human disease in a human body-like setting without actually endangering the life of a human. Unfortunately, as my opponent pointed out, some animals do lose their lives during medical testing. But consider, at some point, these tests have to be administered at an early stage upon a living being. If that organism were to die, would you rather it be a rat or a human? As Claire Andres and Michael Vasquez point out in Issues in Medical Ethics, if we had to choose between saving a drowning baby and saving a drowning rat, we would surely save the baby. Moreover, if we consider animals as our moral equals, where do we draw the line? Animals are living beings, and it's true their lives have value, but trees and plants are also living beings. They're fungi, algae, and protists. So are bacteria. By some definitions, so are viruses. Are we to accord the same value to the life of every organism? Contrary to what PETA and my opponent say, humans are biologically animals, but we differ from every other organism in that we alone are sapient. We alone have sentient thought and the capability to comprehend and analyze abstract concepts. Quoting Andres and Vasquez again, the value we place on the lives of animals does not count as much as the value we place on human lives. Essentially, in situations where animal testing saves human lives, those lives outweigh the lives of the animals in the experiments. Even if you believe human and animal lives are of equal value, my opponent claims that it's morally wrong to perform experiments on any animal or person. Not only is this highly unrealistic, but it completely ignores willing, voluntary human participants. Furthermore, as Dr. Laura Bishop of Georgetown University's National Reference Center for Bioethics Literature notes, more than 20 countries have specific legislation governing the human use of animals in biomedical research and education. Typical legislation requires adequate housing conditions, controls on animal pain, and critical prior review. A few countries require explicit ethical justifications. Without any scientific evidence to back up his claims, only unsubstantiated quotes from PETA, my opponent's proposed universal plan of banning animal testing ignores not only the medical necessity and ever-improving accuracy of animal testing, even with alternative methods. My counterplan of a partial ban on animal testing, limited only to medical research, acknowledges the real need for testing on living organisms, while recognizing that animal lives do have more value than to be sacrificed on trivialities such as cosmetics testing. Animal testing is a situation of utilitarianism, of ends justifying the means. Animal testing has been responsible for major medical breakthroughs that have saved millions of lives. Thus, My counterplan of a ban excluding medical testing on animal research is far more beneficial to the scientific community and humanity as a whole.